Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Vio here and we're back with another free MMR tutorial. As everyone knows, patch 7.35C, which was long overdue, and this was basically a patch of nerfs. So unfortunately, stuff that we were abusing before kinda got patched out or balanced out in a way. So rest in peace, Maid Slayer. Anyways, well, as the game keeps changing, we just gotta find the few things that we need in order to climb MMR. So today's video is gonna be based on a hero that has been picked a lot in the offlane from Dream League Season 22, the tournament that's currently going on. And that hero is none other than Mars. This is among the more highest skilled offlane heroes in terms of execution and laning. And you know me, I put a lot of emphasis on laning as I believe that winning a lane usually amounts to winning your game. So to start this off, the replay that we are going to be looking at is by none other than the current best Mars in the world, Falcons.ATF. So, a few things to note about ATF's Mars is that in the laning stage, as an offlaner, he tends to prioritize these smaller items so that he can always fight earlier on, and he is very good at picking his timing of fight, so when he should be farming and basically he doesn't fall off. As you know, position 3 heroes are usually the sacrifice among the cores after a certain period within the game, so it's important to know when to fight and when you should be farming. Now, there are 3 things that I would like to take note of in the laning stage. The first one would be how ATF handles laning itself, like being able to hit creeps and when he should be hitting creeps. Because Mars as a hero has just low base armor, also he takes a lot of damage and he needs to get in your face to be able to take CS or do anything. So the way he handles this is that he actually aggroes a lot by pulling the enemy creeps closer to you and your creeps going closer to them. Every time the opponent wants to hit you, he is likely going to aggro first and take damage from the creeps itself. So this way, he pulls the enemy creeps towards him, so he has a easier time last hitting and it's a safer time, definitely. I'll show you that he actually does it from the start of the game itself. His main focus throughout the whole laning stage is just to be getting levels, hitting creeps, making sure that he gets more denies than the enemy, and to make sure that he secures every single rage creep. Like you see, right from here, once the creep comes, he's already right clicking the enemy, trying to pull the creep closer to him, and every single moment he can, when the aggro resets, he'll just pull the creep closer to him. The second thing to note would be what he just did here. What he tries to do is that he wants to use his spells more often than none to be able to make sure that he can get a creep CS along with some harass in. So this way he ends up winning the trade. As you can see, he just did it. When this creep was low, he aggroed it closer to him. Duraccio moved closer to him to get some right clicks on him, and he just used his second skill to get the CS, to ensure he gets the CS, and also do some damage to the Sven. Then of course, it's all about the battle of the range creep, so he's gonna try his hardest to make sure he gets the range creep. At the same time, he's gonna keep aggroing so that, you know, the lane keeps getting pushed up as well, because your creeps are dying and theirs are not. But you see, he just pushes the hero out of the lane by consistently moving forward and making sure that the Rusher knows that if he were to come closer to try to get the deny in the rage creep, he's going to take a few auto attacks from Amar. So yep, those are the first 2, and the last one would be basically trying to get the lane up. So what you want to do as an offlaner is that the entirety of your laning stage is centered around staying alive and also getting CS and levels. Okay, these are the 3 most important things. So just to cover up the 3 that I just spoke about. So getting levels and getting CS, that can only be done by literally killing creeps. So you gotta be able to make sure that you can outlast hit your enemy safe lane, that's one. And there are a few ways to help you do this better. And I think the first and most important thing would be to aggro, because it just makes the life of the safe laner a lot harder, because he has to take more harass and he'll be burning through his regen, stuff like that. And just think about it, no matter how mechanically good he is, it doesn't really matter. Maybe he can be able to take a few CS away from you, but he would have taken a lot of damage just doing so. So once you pull forward the creep wave towards you, so that covers if you can't get CS or you can't outlast hit this guy because maybe he has higher base damage or he's in a way just mechanically better than you. Probably not gonna say that, obviously. So yeah, let's just say he has higher base damage. But yeah, so let's say if that's the case, then at least he would be taking a lot of harass. He wouldn't be able to keep doing it because as time passes by, eventually there will be a kill potential for y'all. So if he's low enough, y'all can maybe just combine your spells with the pause 4 and probably land a kill on the safe lane itself, which is gonna really drain his game out like badly. I don't think any safe lane wants to be dying in lane. It's not so bad in the sense like they have a lot of comeback mechanics, but still, yeah, it would be better to have a good laning stage. So yeah. So the third thing, to address the third thing would be to get the lane up. So this is the best way to keep yourself alive, because it just opens up a lot of windows for your team if you can keep the lane up. So two things that can happen. One is the Phosphor would be, it would be a lot more easier for the Phosphor to position himself to engage in a kill within your lane itself. The other thing would be that even your Phos 5 could actually gate from top to bot, and it would go unnoticed. So if the Phos 5 would be running at the lane, get a kill because the lane is up, the opponent's safe lane and the support, Phos 5 support, wouldn't be able to react immediately, and they would be out of position. So they will generally just, so yeah, those are the three things. And Amar actually does this as well. So if you just look at him, you see now he has a double creep wave that he's fighting against. He's just gonna aggro this. He's gonna ignore the creep wave down here below, so to let that fight off, because it's already an uneven amount of creeps. So their creeps for sure will, maybe one or two will die, but they will definitely push out and they will come towards come up. So you see he just holds a wave here. He walks around so that he takes less damage from the creeps. They have to move and hit, stuff like that. Then he just tries his hardest to hold the wave here. Of course, the enemy is going to be doing the same. They're going to be trying to aggro, trying to remove the range creeps, like deny the range creeps before you can get them. But whatever, you know, it's just a lot of a safer time here. Now, going back to the fact that we talked about how Amar likes to buy smaller items so that he's tankier, he has more sustain, and also that basically he can fight earlier on without a lot lesser. I mean, like, he doesn't need all his, like, you know, basically it's uncontestable because he's just stronger earlier on with these items. So as you can see, like, you see Amar, he just switched. He was initially, he thought like maybe, you know, he just go for a Facebook straight so that he can prioritize his hero into the later levels, but then he decides, I think going a double bracer would be a better route, because it would make you really tanky and you can just sit in lane for a longer period. You might not be able to fight so early on because boots obviously makes a big difference, because it lets you chase heroes, it lets you position yourself better, it just makes the game a lot harder for your opponents. I think the next best thing would be just be able to sustain yourself, and yep, so that's what he does. So he just goes double bracer, he can sit in the lane, he doesn't really need his phosphor to be here all the time, but he can definitely sit in the lane for a longer period. So yeah, those are the main things that I want to cover for the laning stage. If people are just, you know, generally messing up their lanes, or if you can read that the fact that your heroes just scale better at certain levels, try to reach those points and then just go a little bit more aggro. But at the same time, don't forget that you can't just run at people and just take damage from your creeps. So at the end of the day, think about how you can put yourself in a position where they would always hit first and they would take aggro first if the creeps are positioned in a way that it's not in your favor. That covers everything from the lane. There's actually quite a few things that Amar has done pretty perfectly. So the next thing would be to talk about the mid game. So how Amar uses his ultimate, his arena, to basically secure team fights. So he's one of the reasons why they win team fights, and it's a lot of it has got to do with how he uses his arena. So there are two ways that we can break it down to how the arena should be used. One is either to be a very good crowd control, separating a team fight. So in the sense, like, you separate the enemy team for a good 5 to 7 seconds. It's basically like a 3v5 or a 2v5 or something like that. You basically segregate the team fight into two parts. 3 enemy heroes or 2 heroes just become spectators. And the second way to use arena is, of course, if you're fighting against blinkers or BKB heroes, you'd want to be able to drop the arena and use his spear immediately. So the previous one where I spoke about where he separates the team fight, he actually holds his spear a lot. So what he's trying to do is just get the most out of the crowd control he can. He uses the arena to lock them in. Then once they are in for that good 7 seconds, right before the arena ends, he actually spears the hero into the arena, so they are stunned for another duration of the spear, which is 2.2 seconds. Inclusive of the arena, you get about 6 seconds there because you're not going to hold it up till the full 7 seconds duration. So you're probably about 9 seconds locked down on a singular hero. But if you're dealing with a blinker or BKB carrier, you can either combo it by throwing your spear first and then pulling up the arena, which is Saberlight's combo, or you can just put up the arena and spear the guy straight into the arena. The next clip I'm going to show you is basically him trying to handle BKB and blinkers. So he's going to pull up the arena and straight away just spear the heroes. just look at him. He's positioning himself, trying to position himself well, but his smoke gates break and Tofu immediately jumps on him with the Bat Rider, pulls him in, and then he knows he's dealing with I don't know if you guys noticed that, but basically he knows he's dealing with a Quap and a BKB Sven. But unfortunately, the Sven has already popped his BKB, so his next best thing is he still needs to lock down the Quap. So I'll slow this down so you guys can see. But basically, he drops his arena, puts in the 3 heroes here, so Tofu is stuck in it as well because he already used his blink. Dyrachyo will be in it until his BKB ends, but it's a pretty long duration. BKB still got half the timing left. So yeah, so that basically will cover the whole arena duration. But now Tofu is stuck in here and he immediately spears Quinn, which is the Quap, straight into the arena so that he gets a lockdown there on the Blink hero. Let's slow this down a bit. As you can see, he gets pulled in. Then he gets saved by the snowball for that short duration. Immediately pulls up his arena and spears the Quap straight into the arena. And yeah, I think they successfully saved Quinn, but he was super low, so he's basically out of this fight already. Now we can just go back to normal. Then everyone's on the retreat because Quap's too low, Venge is also too low because he had to swap into the arena and took too much damage. And this just gives a free game for Malrin and Skitter to just beat everyone else up. So that was the reason that Falcons actually kind of came on top of that team fight. Okay, so the second way that he uses it is as crowd control. So let's look at 41 minutes into the game. Yeah, okay, as you can see, he's not the main initiator. And look, see, the heroes are just the Venge and the Dawnbreaker. They're coming in, and what he does is, look, he just literally separates the team fight. So this one has just popped his God Strength. I think, did he use his BKB? No, he didn't. He's just holding on to his BKB. But look, he's literally put the Quap and the Sven outside of this arena. So just basically now, right now, okay, since Crit is dead, which is your task, so basically you have a 4v3 because right now it's a 4v2. Dawnbreaker's not even in yet. But they lost quite a bit of HP, so they are a little bit on the run. But if, let's say, he did not separate this team fight like this, the Dyrachyo would just be running everyone down, and I'm pretty sure they would have lost way more heroes than they could have here. Yeah, in the end, they actually do lose 4 heroes. They could have lost 5. But yeah, so that was one of the moments where he came in a little bit clutch. And the next one would be 46 minutes into the game. Oh yeah, this is a beautiful team fight. So here he shows how he actually uses the arena again to separate the team fight. Look at this. He puts in Tofu and the Venge right here. And look, Dyrachyo is just standing outside of the team fight. He can't do anything and just watch all these heroes get beat up. And now the Dawnbreaker comes in and he does the same thing. He puts up another arena and he keeps these two again. So it's again another 5v2 where the opponents just can't do anything. And yeah, that's it. So basically now what can the rest of them do? They have to pull out some buyouts to come in to try to win a fight, but the God Strength is like basically down. Oh, okay. Dyrachyo actually held his God Strength. That's pretty good. But yeah, so that's how Amar uses his arena. The two ways he uses arena, either by using it as a control immediately for a BKB or a Blink hero, or he uses it as a crowd control. In the sense, he just puts it up to separate a team fight, or he just keeps heroes locked in, and then when the duration is ending, he will use his spear again to spear them in so that they are stunned for another 3 seconds. The last thing that we want to talk about is actually the late game of Mars and how he itemizes. So as you can see, like no normal Mars would itemize like this. So he has a Yule Scepter just for crowd control and also a way to get off like Dispel himself. And the Blink is core, and face boots, I think almost everybody goes this. There's no other real boots that you would want to buy. Then he itemizes by buying a Octarine core and then an Aeon Disc because he has he's played this hero so much that he knows that the opponents are just going to be jumping him. So as long as he can stay alive as long as he can and get his spells off, he is going to be technically doing his job. So all he does is actually blink in, use his arena, use his spells, and then forces himself to get out by running out of the arena so he can stay alive a little longer, use his refresher, and come back in and do the exact same thing just to control the team fight. And he has realized this, so he's bought an Octarine Core, so he has cooldown reduction on all his spells, including his Aeon Disc, and then a refresher for be able to do everything again. So literally refreshing his Aeon Disc and all his spells. So yeah, that is one of the main things. Then the next one would also be how he... Okay, I'm gonna show you guys how he actually uses these items to make sure he can stall a team fight long enough for his team to get into whatever position that they would like, so that it just plays in their favor completely. They're smoked up, they're walking in, Skitter's smokes break so they know that they're all up here, and then he throws a Glipnir and he can roughly see that a few people got caught. He blinks in, throws an arena, puts 3 heroes here, just locks himself in. He's alone. He's literally here 1v5 right now. Drops another arena, sets it up in a way. Yeah, I'm not sure whether you guys noticed this. He actually, so his first arena was this circle. Then he sets another one where it covers half the circle, locking them in for at least a small duration where they are totally sealed in here. Okay, and they can't move out. And this gives an ample amount of space for the rest of them to just move around, handle this one hero by themselves. So yeah, he throws another one, uses his spear, then he just uses himself, keeping 4 heroes in, moving out. It would be crazy if actually the Rachu is actually using the Kibi, he's actually holding on to it. It's pretty crazy. But yeah. Yeah, he actually popped it here. But everyone else has already used everything and they're already put in a bad position, so that this team fight is just over for Gaimin. Just because of that sick player that he just literally used everything he could in like a duration of 14 seconds, and he stalled so much for his team. That's about everything for today. Do let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about this guide, or if there are any heroes to recommend, any particular builds that you guys like to see or think would be good to play in this patch 7.35c. Don't forget to follow my socials, which are in the description down below. I am still posting daily on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube Shorts, so do help me out here. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.